The older I become, the more I'm having to reconsider who my real friends are. What is a friend when you're in your mid-20s, deep into graduate school, and the majority of your friends are far, far away? The more I study history and reclaim my own past, the more I've been looking for real friendship. But what is that? Oh, my friends, there is no friend. Many people have speculated that this quote means he or she or they who has many friends has no friend. It's this quote that philosopher Jacques Derrida begins his seminal publication, The Politics of Friendship. So I don't know if you're like me, but I grew up with friendship being this easy, simple, but powerful partnership. Because I grew up moving from place to place, it was just a part of life to have to readjust and make new friends and make new memories on the playground. But that was then. What happens to my friends now, that I conjure up from the past? What about the pieces of me that I've left behind with those friends? Those friendships, to me, they aren't replaceable, even if they were a long time ago in middle school or elementary, whenever it was. This is how I'm redefining friendship for myself now. We've obviously been living through some unprecedented times where it feels like everything in our world has to be re-examined, including who our friends are. I've been thinking a lot about what friendship can mean to people who come from similar backgrounds to me. I watched a lot of fictional Black sidekicks and Black supporting characters in tons of the shows that I watched growing up, but I wonder if someone like Vince from Recess or Gerald from Hey Arnold could talk, if they'd express being lonely in their fictional worlds where the only Black families that exist are their own. So I'm sure I'm not the first to admit this, but I'm jealous of what happens when I search Black friendship on Google. I'm jealous because friendship is gendered. There are numerous articles on shows like Girlfriends and Insecure, but I found it pretty rare for anyone to think about what Black men need. It's easy to be jealous of women for the ways that they're able to fully love on each other in the ways that men won't allow themselves to. I don't want to say that all women do this, but in the friendships that I've observed, they're able to really pour out their souls to each other and cry with each other. After all, you definitely won't find men trying to celebrate their own version of Valentine's Day. But is friendship gendered because men won't unlock who they really are? I think that there's some toxicity in feeling like you need to assert yourself as an alpha male or overly ambitious and emotionless. There has to be more to it. And I think if many of us were honest with ourselves, we'd be afraid that we'd be called gay, which is ridiculous, by the way. Being afraid of intimacy can feel like a jail cell. I think many of us are missing out on same-sex friendships because we're afraid of intimacy, to be fully seen. It annoys me to sit down and constantly discuss surface-level topics and conversations that are just about sports. I'm looking for that bond. Where is it? The loyalty. Is armed conflict the only time that men know how to be fully honest with each other? Just in moments of deep fear when there's an enemy across battle lines? There has to be more to this. I used to measure friendship by the amount of time someone had been my friend, whether that was 5 years or 10 years. And in our heads, I feel like we measure these kinds of things here and there. But when I looked back at some of the people that I cared so much about, I found over and over again that they could hardly remember our memories together. Maybe it's because I moved around so much, I've stopped being comfortable bearing my soul to people, because I always feel like everybody leaves. Social media has been a gift and a curse. I enjoy being able to survey what all of my friends and all of the people that I've ever known are up to from anywhere that I've lived. But I think one of the hardest realizations is that our lives continue to go on without a planned time for another reunion. I don't think it's something we talk about that often. Taking the chance to expose ourselves on social media, though, often exposes some views that, for me, for my background, can be really harmful. I don't want to see that someone values me as an individual, but when they see someone who looks like me on the street, who needs help or is dying, and they just ignore them. Because I went to a historically white institution for my undergrad years and became a student leader and did a lot publicly, I know that I meant a lot of things to a lot of different people. But at the end of the day, I want people who genuinely want to know me for who I am instead of who or what they think that I am. And maybe you feel the same way. I read a conversation with an author discussing her newest book, How Radical Friendship Can Lead to Social Change. The author, Kate Johnson, gives her own definition of radical friendship. It's a friendship defined by a shared commitment to liberation for yourself and for your friends. This isn't just the typical allyship conversation. It's about being aware of the multiple identities and the contexts and all these things that we carry all together and how these things show up in our friendships. For me, it's about learning how to listen deeply to people from marginalized communities like me. There's a really great example of this in history. Yuri Kochiyama and Malcolm X formed a friendship and bond until mere moments before Malcolm's assassination. United by the ways America had bombed their communities literally and figuratively, Yuri and Malcolm became friends and advocated for the total liberation of marginalized people of color in the United States. But when Malcolm was assassinated, Yuri held his head in her arms in her last act of friendship. Sure, call me a little bit of a romantic here, but bear with me, this actually happened. Clearly though, there are moments when a piece of you dies alongside your friend. And I can't imagine a world where we never allow ourselves to be fully seen by at least someone out there. Someone deserves to know who you are. I feel like someone deserves to know who I really am and what I'm like. For all those who remain after their friends have died, they are the last representations of that friend on earth. But what's important to me is that people may idolize and they may remember you or those great celebrities and, social activists and all the great things that they've done. But to really know someone is to know them fully, intimately. The moments when they're being goofy, the moments when they're just sharing a birthday cake, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. King. Happy birthday to you.
We know how fond you are of our president, Lyndon Johnson. And we know how you're supporting everything. I got this little cup for you, and I want this back because it's mine. Let me read. It says, we are cooperating with Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty. Drop coins and bills in the cup.
This is what true friendship is to me at this age and at this stage of life. It's sharing emotional intimacy. It's fighting together to ensure we're both seen in society. It's being loyal to each other. And it's forever. I really feel like when you make a true friend, that person really is there forever. It's not meant to be this scary binding thing. It's meant to be a partnership. It's the acknowledgement that, hey, I don't want to do life without you. I want you to always be around because, we have our romantic partners, but we shouldn't look to them to be the full, whole person for us, devoted only to our needs. I think we need other people. Friendship is one of those things that feels integral to the human experience. I don't think we can exist in isolation. I don't think that's possible. I think we need partnership. It doesn't always have to be romantic, because who else will be there when life inevitably gets hard? And who's going to be there to celebrate those happy moments when we're on the peak of the mountain? I want to find what endures through time. I want someone to remember me the way that I remember them. And there's a time and a place for everything, but intimacy is so necessary. Friendship is voluntary and vague, a relationship that easily slides into the background of life. For some, friendship is enduring and rhythmic. For others, it's a sporadic intimacy of resuming conversations that were left years prior. There are people we only talk to about serious things. Others who only make sense to us in the merriment of drunken nights. Some friends seem to complete us. Others complicate us. I'm on a quest for true friendship. This is something that everyone needs, no matter what age you are. And hopefully as I get older, maybe it'll get easier, but I'm up to learning, and I'm up for the challenge.
My friends are my power.